So in this video we will show you our weekly Forex forecast for the main pairs. Many beautiful setups are coming next week, so stay tuned and let's go. But before we continue, we also want to note that we have a Telegram channel as well, where we post signals and other top quality educational content. So make sure to go down below in the description and subscribe. So moving on. So here's EURUSD weekly time frame. And as you can see, this week price was moved down. After we have this beautiful reaction to the key weekly level with the long wick right here, we have a downwards movement. And as you can see, for instance, once this happens in the past, right here you can see this beautiful long wick candle reacting to the same key level right here. Price go down drastically. So for now, like we said in our previous video, we expect some kind of pullback to the trend line and the 50 EMA on the weekly. But as you can see, we're also currently approaching another level of support on the weekly right here. But we have an obvious bearish bias on this pair on the weekly time frame. What is more important, as you can see, we have a small red candle and a bigger candle. This shows a momentum gain, meaning that sellers are stepping into the market. And what is more, we also can see this beautiful long wick, meaning that sellers are currently dominating in the market. So as we said, we have an obvious bearish bias on this pair on the weekly time frame. Let's go down to the daily time frame and see a clearer picture. So here on the daily time frame, we could see a picture perfect setup. So we can see a long wick candle reacting to the key weekly level, then was followed by a bearish massive engulfing candle on the daily time frame. This was picture perfect bearish reversal setup from the candlestick standpoint. But we also see from this price action standpoint that the price has made a lower high and lower low. And as you can see, for now price approaching to the key weekly level. And we expect some kind of pullback to the broken trend line and the 50 EMA, and want to see some kind of price action once it happens. So as price is making a lower high and lower low, we have an obvious bearish bias on this pair on the daily as well. What this means? We have a bearish bias on the weekly and on the daily, meaning that our higher time frames are confluent. So what we do next? We will be only looking for a short trade opportunity during the next week as our time frames are confluent. But for now, let's go to the 4-hour time. So on the 4-hour time frame, we could see a picture perfect price action, confirming our bearish bias from the higher time frames. As you can see, price broke right through the 50 EMA with this massive bearish engulfing candle. Then price made some kind of pullback and again break right through the 50 EMA, and then finally break the trend line and even came back to reject the broken trend line and the 50 EMA, which was a picture perfect entry this week. But what we could see next, price again came back to reject the 50 EMA, but again for the next week what we want to see. We want to see a clear breakout through that weekly level, some movement to the trend line, and then a perfect rejection of this powerful weekly zone with some kind of price action. If this happens, we could easily expect a massive downwards movement somewhere right here. And what adds even more confluence, we could see a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish reversal pattern. So as you can see, left shoulder right here, head right here, and right shoulder right here. And as you can see, we broke the neckline right here and right here, confirming our bearish bias and strong bearish momentum on this pair on the 4-hour time frame, giving for us a bearish bias as well. And as you can see, we have all our time frames are confluent, meaning that we see the same picture on the weekly, on the daily, and on the 4-hour time frame. So let's move on. So here's pound USD. And as you can see, we are currently in the trade. We sent this signal as a real-time trade alert, and as you can see, we are currently up around 140 pips. So make sure to go down below, subscribe to our free Telegram channel, and let's trade with us. But for now, let's back to our analysis. So here's pound USD weekly time frame, and we can see another picture perfect setup that's currently forming. As you can see, we have a break right through the weekly strong support zone. We also have a break right through the trend line. And what adds even more confluence, we also rejected the 50 EMA with a very long wick as well. All these factors are creating for us a strong bearish bias on the weekly time frame, meaning that we only go short next week if our all time frames will be confluent. So let's go down to the daily. Here on the daily we could see an even more beautiful picture. As you can see, price rejected the strong weekly resistance line with a long wick, which was followed by a massive bearish engulfing candle. We discussed this setup early in EURUSD. Again, beautiful reversal setup from the candlestick standpoint. Then we have a lower low and lower high. Then we have a picture perfect break right through the weekly support zone, the 50 EMA and the trend line, creating for us a strong bearish bias with strong bearish momentum. And then we have a trend continuation. So for now we expect a downwards movement to that level. But let's go down to the 4-hour time frame to see a more clear picture. So here on the 4-hour time frame, we could see a picture perfect break right through the trend line, and even price came back to reject the broken trend line. As we said earlier, we're currently in the short trade on the pound USD, and this signal was sent in our free Telegram group. But in terms of entry, what we wanted to see is some kind of pullback to reject the 50 EMA somewhere right here, when the 50 EMA will drop in that zone. But with that strong bearish momentum, pullback could never come. So like we said earlier, we expect downwards movement somewhere to this key level. So let's move on. So here's USDCAD weekly time frame. And as you can see, after price broke right through the 50 EMA and showed a massive bullish presence, this week we have some kind of indecision candle, meaning that we have an okay rejection of the 50 EMA, but price failed to push higher and close with small body. What we also want to say is that the price has failed to make a higher high. This means that current price movement can also be a pullback of the main dominant downtrend. So let's go down to the daily time frame. On the daily, we could see a clear higher low, but to add even more confidence, we would like to see a higher high from that level. We also want to see break right through this weekly dynamic resistance line, as well as break right through the 50 EMA. And then we want to see a picture perfect pullback with some kind of price action at this key level. But what is more, we also want to see a break of the given trend line to confirm our bullish bias on the daily. So let's go down to the 4-hour time. Here's on the 4-hour time frame, we could see some kind of price choppiness right in this area. But then price make a higher high, and even we have an okay rejection of the 50 EMA. But like we said previously, we want to see a clear higher high, break right through the weekly resistance zone, and beautiful pullback with price action to go long next week. Let's move on. So here's gold weekly time frame, and nothing literally changed from our previous analysis, as we as always traded in that tight range for a while, right here. So like we said in our previous video, we would like to see a break right through this minor resistance zone, and even better right through this powerful weekly resistance zone. On the other hand, to confirm a bearish bias, we would like to see a break right through the trend line and right through the weekly support, somewhere right here. This week we have a beautiful long wick candle rejecting the trend line and the weekly support, creating for us some kind of bullish bias for the next week. But again, we need a confirmation. So let's go down to the daily time frame. So here on the daily we could see an interesting thing. As you can see, this beautiful long wick candle rejecting the trend line and the weekly support. Then price was in flat in a few days in a row. And as you can see on Friday, we have this massive beautiful bullish engulfing candle breaking right through the minor resistance. So we have a strong bullish momentum, and we could expect a break right through that level next week. But let's go down to the 4-hour time frame. First of all, here on the 4-hour time frame, we could see a picture perfect reversal price action right here. But this will be discussed in our other video, so comment below if you want to see it. And as you can see, once this happens, price go up drastically. But again, we need a confirmation through the break of the weekly minor resistance zone. So let's move on. So here's US oil weekly time frame. And as you can see, nothing literally changed from our previous analysis, as we're still approaching a strong area where multiple resistance factors are lining up perfectly. So first, as you can see, we have a 0.618 Fibonacci level. Then we have a strong resistance level on the weekly time frame, as well as a 50 EMA. And as you can see, price again approaching this level, showing for us some kind of bullish presence. But again, to confirm a strong bullish momentum, we would like to see a break right through the 50 EMA and the weekly resistance to go up. But for now, let's go down to the daily time frame. So here's on the daily. We could see that price has made a higher low but failed to make a higher high. So like we said, we need to see a higher high and break right through the resistance factors to confirm our bullish bias on the US oil. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Telegram channel, link in the description. Press the like button, comment below what you think about this analysis, what you want to see next, and see you on the next video.